Welcome back. Today, I'm going to be discussing about the ability of the Italian politician to speak English. I want to start with Mr. Berlusconi, our former prime minister. When he went to United States to meet the former president George Bush, they went for a few minutes work in a golf course. And when Berlusconi saw the American flag flying in the air, he stopped for a while, enlarged his chest, and said, "This is not the American flag. It's also symbols of freedom and liberty." Obviously, he said this short sentence not with this accent, but with the typical, peculiar Macaroni accent, Italian accent. And George Bush slapped his shoulder and said, "Oh, congratulations, Silvio. You speak English very well." Now, you have to know that George Bush himself was not speaking English clearly. And, it's not my opinion, but George Bush's daughters talked about her father's ability to be clear when he spoke English because, he speaks with a typical, peculiar Texan accent and it's not so clear. The second one is Matteo Renzi, the former Italian Prime Minister. He was invited in Washington to, attend, let me say, to remember Robert Kennedy anniversary of his death. And Renzi was among so many important guests. Each of them had to read a short piece of Robert Kennedy's speech, famous speech. And when it was Renzi's turn, he started to read this short part of the speech, of Robert Kennedy's speech. But nobody understood him. In spite, everyone has a transcript of each foreigner who was speaking, remembering some speech of Robert Kennedy. Because, as you know, when Renzi used to speak English, or he's speaking English, it seems that he has a bowl meat in his mouth. The other one is the former candidate for Prime Minister, Francesco Rutelli. He used to be a culture minister, and he wanted to promote a video to, increase visitors in our country, foreign tourists to visit our country. He pretended to be able to speak English, but also his English was quite poor. So, given the fact that he was not able to read an English test correctly, he thought that it was a good idea to read a whiteboard where he wrote, or someone else wrote, the way each English word should be pronounced. So he started to read, "Please visit Italy. It's a beautiful country with magnificent church, landscape, mountains, museums, and so many other amazing things." The last one is, but there are so many other examples, but I don't want to bother you. Just to mention the last one. is our Italian environment minister who attended a meeting in Brussels recently, maybe a few days ago, and they were there to discuss the deal of gas price cap. At the end of the meeting, a few journalists started to ask him some questions. Many of them asked the question in Italian, but unfortunately, there was a foreigner reporter who asked him a question in English. The question was, do you think it's possible to find a compromise? So the poor Pichetto, this is the name of the Italian minister, misunderstood this word, ignored the meaning of this word. He thought that, instead of a compromise, the English word was congratulations. So he understood complimenti. So he hesitated for a while. He found himself, in a very difficult situation. He looked around, saw and said, complimenti? Insomma. What a shame. Thank you for watching.